What I've been warning you all for all these years and have tried to warn the authorities for decades finally came out November last year. That the man behind the terrible Paris attacks of 2015 and many other terrorist attacks all over the world was a Swiss and a member of the notorious Octagon of the Swiss Nazi Templars. His name is Thomas Marcel Christen, from the town of Nussbaum in the canton of Aargau. Right next, and like 10 kilometers away, right next to Rupperswil, like Jack the Ripper, where on winter solstice 2015, and with the help of the Swiss Nazi police, the perverted Swiss serial killer Thomas Nick, also by the name of Thomas, raped and sodomized a 13-year-old boy in front of his mother and afterwards terminated the whole family with 3 young children. See here my videos about it. And this Swiss serial killer also roamed all over the US. The Swiss canton of Aargau is a very violent part of Switzerland with many neo-Nazis. Just like Thomas Marcel Christen by the Islamic battle name of Abu Musab al-Swisri and head of the special ISIS detachment Katiba Furgan of the notorious ISIS Amniyat by the Western intelligence services called OSEO, O-S-E-O, for Operation Structure External Operations. He is also from the Swiss canton of Aargau. And the Jews too had to find out the hard way about the accumulated violence of the Swiss canton of Aargau, when in 1776, see my film here, and because of the Nazi Templars having their powerful New World Order state America together, through their also 1776 Illuminati wing, without having to fear the old world order anymore, who basically always tried to protect the Jews like any other citizen. Swissy rounded all the Jews up in 1776 in the entire Swaziland and forced them into the canton of Aargau, into the small towns of Endingen and Lengnau, and also next to Nussbaumen, where the elusive Swiss terrorist of Octagon is from. And as the 2 Swiss Jew concentration towns were right at the German border, they all crossed over into safe Germany, or Ashkenazi in German, which means Germany, and developed their own German language called Yiddish, and lived in safety from the Swiss Nazi Templars until they got caught up by Swissy again 150 years later, when Swissy rounded them all up again with the Swiss Templar Nazis and burned them in the camps. The name Aargau probably comes from Sargau, for Sar, for Pharaoh, and Gau is a Nazi Gauleiter, Sargauleiter. There are absolutely no pictures nor footage of the elusive Swiss Abu Musab al-Swisri, and he wasn't a real Muslim either, just as the Swiss Templar Nazis were no real German nationalists. Therefore, the Swiss Nazi Templars, with their SS Gauleiter from Aargau, killing all the real German nationalists during the Night of the Long Knives and afterwards, just as the Islamic State did a horrendous butchery on true Muslims and even on their own members, exactly the same Nazi energy as in World War II, exactly the same modus operandi, exactly the same fear control on their own followers, and exactly the same geostrategical wars for the Nazi gold and other Nazi treasures still in the Swiss Templar caves. And here Octagon founding the Islamic State to go after the last drops of oil, of which I explain in my video The Middle East Trilogy, which they deleted on Vimeo and Dailymotion. But this good person here saved it for us all on this video here. So please re-upload it under its original name. And you can find the link in the description under the film The Middle East Trilogy on my channel CIA. So compared to all the other ISIS members, as you can see here, this Swissy here, whom they call the world's most dangerous terrorist, has an entirely different attitude. As if he were trained by some intelligence service, already knowing beforehand that the end of the Islamic State would come in only a few years, whereas all the other members believed all the religious hocus-pocus of a 1,000-year Reich of the Caliphate by Allah himself, therefore willingly posing for pictures and videos for Allah's servants. And only El Swissy here seemed to be informed of another future and had already read the screenplay textbook. Just as Martin Bormann, of course the Minister of Finances of the Third Reich, hey Swissy? Hardly any pictures of him and disappeared without a trace in 1945. Just like Abu Musab al-Swissri. Nobody knows where he went to and what happened. I know he's in Switzerland, just like the Swiss Nazi Alain Soral, as in Sar al, back to the motherland, escaping the French justice today. Like Dr. Mengele, the notorious, extremely cold-hearted, ethnic Swiss Auschwitz camp doctor. And here you can see him in Switzerland in Hotel Angel here. And this is a picture of the guy here. Under his real name, he was having nice holidays in Switzerland. Just like the French traitor Marshal or General Pétain in 1944, when he tried to escape to the motherland. They actually did, and they got him back. Or like this Swissy here, Joachim Landwehr, who tried to kill some French cops in 2017 in order to spark civil war in France. And he went to Switzerland and they protect him, no problem. Etc, etc. And the list goes on and on and on. Nobody will ever stop Switzerland. Al-Swissri here probably is the Islamic version for El Swissy, following an old Arabic tradition to honor those Swiss cameloads full of money for the holy expansion of the goddess. No guys, lay off, not that expansion. Say what? Yeah, horizontal rule, yeah. El Swissy here even forbade cameras and all cell phones in his vicinity, like a perfect Swiss banker counting it all up without making any mistake at all. Whereas the rest of them jihadis were taking selfies like a busload full of Japs next to the Eiffel Tower, or in this case a camelload full of international jihadi tourists. So El Swissy's profile is worrisome, very distinctively different from the rest, and heavily smells Western intelligence and its elusive octagon top. I think Octagon selected him when not El Swissy yet, did his military service in the Swiss militia, and it should be important to know in what kind of regiment he served. So another very precise Swissy here, which you can see in this film of mine here, like 10 years ago. This is not an El Swissy, but it's a Heil Swissy or Hail Swissy. And it is the SS Standartenführer, it's a Swiss colonel then, you know, in the SS in Germany. The SS Standartenführer, the Swiss Karl Jäger, writing down every single person and child they manually slaughtered. a Swiss hit list on soft targets, which is their speciality, of 400,000 people murdered. The horrendous Jaeger report by Heil Swissy here, or Hail Swissy. The precise Swiss and their octagon agent on the terrain, Abu Musab al-Swissy, thought of the smallest detail. The Swiss are very precise in the denial of their crimes, but not in the admittance of their perpetuous crimes and elaborated Swiss crime industry all over the world. This is why the Swiss were the big absents at the Nuremberg trials, because as usual, Octagon had all their men occupying all key positions. Like the Swiss-American Dwight Eisenhower, the leading general of all the combined Allied forces. And in spite of the fact that Swissy had 3 murderous concentration camps for American aviators called Vaux-Villarmoz, Les Diablerets and Hunneberg, which you can witness in my film here. Eisenhower just said, "The war is over now." Eisen in Swiss German means metal, and hauen, to hit, a blacksmith. Eisenhower. Swissy even had Swiss concentration camps on US soil by Swiss captain Heinrich Wirtz, which you can see here in this video here. And the bodies you can see here lying around, the American citizens killed in a Swiss concentration camp by the Swiss in America. And it's again the German Bild-Zeitung delivering the intel on El Swissy terrorist here. Just as the same German Bild-Zeitung came looking for Dr. Mengele in Swaziland and even found that the angel of death was living with his sister in the Schwimmbadstraße, number 9 in Kloten, Zurich, Switzerland. But the Swiss authorities, who perfectly knew, didn't want to hear anything about it. Now here you can see it. It's the Bild am Sonntag. Journalists, Germans. The Swiss know it and they never do anything about it. Anyway, the Swiss Nazi police are too busy with their corruption business model of massive extortions and Swiss police ransoms industry by Swiss police kidnappings. They have no time for real police work, and especially not by looking for Swiss citizens, as you can see here in my recent videos here. Just as today with the Omerta Nazi Templar laws of silence around the base of Octagon in the Alps, no media and no authorities worldwide pick up the intel on the Swiss terrorist. Because of the Nazi Templar political wing, they're Freemasons on all key positions in the entire New World Order world, keeping their rubber base in the Alps neutral, clean and innocent. You don't talk about Switzerland, ever. And it says that the Berlin attacker, he slipped under the Swiss authorities' radar. The Swiss, I tell you, the Swiss authorities, they don't have a radar. They only have a money counting machine with their kidnappings, ransoms and extortions. There is no Swiss radar. It's just a money counting machine, that's all. Corruption pure. They don't do their work as they should do. Anyway, they would never go and seek any so-called jihadist who is actually an Octagon member. To which even the fucktube Nazis here, my CIA channel, they abide to these Swiss laws of silence by censoring, deleting this video here because of hate speech against Mr. Hitler. A strike for hate speech against Hitler and his Swiss Nazi gang of Templar thugs. You know, FuckTube are a bunch of Nazi liars. Here in this film here, there's absolutely no violence or graphic content in it. They're a bunch of liars. They only look at the title, you know, and that's all. So I have to be very delicate with choosing the words and titles I choose. And as I'm being pink listed as well, I cannot openly present information about the sexual orientation of these terrible Nazi Templars and their horrendous crimes against humanity, because otherwise I'd have the thought police of this particular group delete the valuable information. So I'm forced to censor myself in this Stasi system we live in, and only bring you 80% of the whole story for not confronting our master's agenda too much, arousing the hatred towards me of those who are already perverted by the masters. I'm sorry. You can see again, it's Swizzy, Switzerland, 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 Swizzy here. And they don't talk about it, you know, it's just in little newspapers maybe, local. The laws of silence around Switzerland. That's where it's all come from. ISIS is Swiss, it's octagon. Therefore, I can't put certain words like ISIS, Islamic State in the title here, as I had already a couple of videos deleted for glorifying a violent organization, for in fact only talking against violence and its various violence organizations. Damn FuckTube liars. So I guess I'll just call this video Abu Musab el-Swissi, Octagon's Islamofascism branch. Yeah, I mean, look at this guy here. This is another one. You know, we already had Marcel Christen, Thomas Marcel Christen. This one here, Daniel Demage from Switzerland. And they say he's one of the most dangerous terrorists, listed as one of the most dangerous ISIS members. Well, look, you can see in this guy's eyes, you know, look at them. You don't want to meet up this guy in some dark Arabic alley, eh, in the middle of the night, or even on daylight, you know. And how come we don't hear anything about this in the newspapers? You know, they're all Swiss. The most dangerous ones are all Swiss, Swiss, Swiss. Not a word about it, not on CNN or all the other broadcasting networks. Nothing, nothing, nothing. And why? Because this is Octagon, Nazi Templars. You know, they have all the head positions in ISIS. They're not Muslims. You know? It's ISIS, it's Templar, I mean, it's Octagon. ISIS is Octagon. So look here, another dangerous Swiss, Damien G. They all got Christian names. The other one was Daniel Demage. We got Thomas Marcel Christen. They're all Christians. You know, it's Octagon. They're all Swiss, the most dangerous ones. This one is called Abu Suleiman al-Swisri. Now look, another al-Swissi. It's full of al-Swissis here. And the Islamic State, ISIS, has been set up by the occult powers of the matriarchy and their Egyptian goddess, Isis, as I explained in my film here, called Confederation Helvetican, using man, raised by the hyena's milk of the matriarchy, and recreated through the Horus Matrix and death of their fathers, through 2 world wars, to be obedient servants for the goddess and her sisters of Isis, here explained in my older videos about the Horus Matrix. Like the aristocrat Baldur von Schirach, having 6-year-old boys in his Hitler youth from 1926 onwards, right after Hitler got financed in Switzerland 3 years before, brainwashing their innocence without their fathers, who were all dead, maimed or worn out after World War I. So when they were ready with these kids through the Horus Matrix in 1940 and 16 years later, They were like a pack of hyenas falling over the Europeans. Here you can read a little bit about this extremely dangerous man who really set up all the warriors, you know, for the Second World War. They know how to do it. So here he is, you know, this guy here, together with Hitler and Bormann. And two of his ancestors, you know, from his mother's side, here were Thomas Hayward Jr. and Arthur Middleton. They were two signatories of the United States Declaration of Independence. Oh, so you guess what kind of family this is, eh? It's all Freemason, aristocracy, von Schirach, that's an aristocratic name, probably von Scharach, yeah, or von Scharach. It's completely pharaonic. And he only did 20 years in prison after the war, that's all. He probably never even was in it, eh? You know what I mean, eh? And he wrote a book like, Hitler did it all and I believed him, you know? Come on. That's why the name ISIS, for the Islamic State, for the goddess Isis, it has nothing to do with Islam. It's just like men fighting each other for the goddess and the matriarchy. It has nothing to do with Islam. With, I don't know how many ISIS children today growing up in huge prison camps, ready for the new ISIS to rise up again soon, even worse than the actual ISIS that has just been defeated, just waiting for their future orders by the Octagon. And this extremely dangerous Octagon, Abu Musab al-Swissi, is to be compared equally with Baldur von Schirach. The evil planners of Octagon, moving children as on a Freemason checkerboard configuration, saying to each other, well, you never know when they come in handy. They will leave these children no chance at all to get away from the goddess Isis' grip and to go and kill the Arab patriarchy in the near future. Just as these defenseless German children had no chance at all to not get infested by the Nazi Templar brainwash and to go and fulfill the goddess and her matriarchy their will to kill the Jewish patriarchy. It's getting boring, Swissy. We always use the same techniques again and again and again, and always on the children. Maybe find yourself a new technique now, Swissy, and leave the kids alone, because I'm telling the world what you're doing. It's all the same masters and their goddesses of the matriarchy fucking us all up, as in tits up, and using little children for their political goals. And the name Greta or Gretchen, it's a Swiss German name. It's not German because it's together with Thunberg. Berg is a mountain in German, and Thun is a town in Swaziland next to Bern. So Greta Thunberg, it's an entirely Swiss German name. Hey, Swissy? So here it is, you see Thun here, Thun in the canton of Bern. It's a place in Switzerland, as in Greta Thunberg. And this was quite a creepy castle here. And this film is it's on my old channel, Gatzefratz. And this one is interesting as well. It's about the US presidency bloodline. I went to the castle of the ancestors of Laura Bush. And yeah, in the middle of this town, Thun, they got a mountain. While in Switzerland, the Swiss laugh about it when you call it a mountain for the obvious reasons, because it's not high enough. But considering other countries, in the middle of the town, they have a mountain. And there's also a castle. And this mountain, they call it Thunberg, which is not this castle. There are more castles. But this is an interesting film, and you can see the... yeah, I'll show you the other castle then in the center of town. So here you can see the castle of Thun. And it's on a mountain, a berg, Thunberg, Greta Thunberg. The whole thing is Swiss German, folks, and it's not a good thing using children for political aims. It's not good at all. It's very suspicious, you know. So you see a map of Switzerland. Here it is, Thun. Here is Bern. Kerzers, that's where the ancestry of Obama is from. Here is Grindelwald, lots of Americans going there, Interlaken, and the lake is called Thunersee, Lake Thun. And here it is, Thun, like Thunberg. In the middle of town they got a little mountain called a berg, Thunberg. I had a video about it once. I had it on my channel Giureh, so FuckTube took it off. I filmed there, the castle there, but it's gone. Sorry about that. And the big bosses behind the screens is all goddesses, sisters of Isis, Swaziland, and the matriarchy. As here, the Greek Themis, who is in fact the pharaonic winged Ma'at goddess who brought you the 10 commandments, like don't be a naughty boy, you know, behave and be obedient, you know, obey our orders. And here you can see the square, but it's like in such an angle, you know, from this side, that it also shows the compass, 60 degrees here for the concept of 3. It's all here. They all read square and compass here, you know. Here, look, there's another one, you know, Themis. It's the same, yeah. There are thousands. I can't show it all to you, you know, you look it up yourself, you know. You see the 4 squares in here for the square, and in the middle is the circle, which stands for the compass. With a compass, you can make a circle. Concept of 3 and 4. There's probably more in it, you know. So they all read square and compass, you know. This is the enemy, people. Yeah, look, they transport valuables, you know, everything belongs to them. Time is luxury. Our masters, you know. Look here, the circle, and it's the square, and the concept of 4 here. Square and compass. Everything belongs to them, you know. And look, Paris, Geneva, of course Geneva, you know. The gene of Eve, right? Our masters. It's all about goddesses and the matriarchy. So man, don't fight each other for your sons, for the love of your sons. Don't fight each other. Stop all these wars. It's ridiculous. It's nonsense. Eh? Don't believe the propaganda. Yeah, look, there's another one here. Yeah. There's the oval, that means all for one and one for all. You look here, the eye. Why do they give the dot on the eye a different color? Because there's a circle on one side and there's a square on the other side. It says square and compass. And they go into space, you know. That's where they probably come from. And they all know it, and you don't know it. And they're not going to tell you this in the newspapers or at school, at the university, or at CNN. Or your president is not going to tell you this either, you know. Only Homie Hross is going to tell you this. Okay, people, this is the last one. Otherwise, I'll be sitting here next week showing it all to you, you know. So you can see all the 3, for the concept of 3, there are 3 triangles. The triangle is the compass. It stands for the compass. There's a square in it. It says square and compass. And there's a T in it for the Tau symbol, as I filmed on that Templars commandery in Spain. And Themis, or Themis, sounds quite like the Carthaginian Tanit goddess for pharaoh spreading out in all directions. As there are equally various pharaonic killer Templars as Nazis, Islamic State, Praetorian Guard, the Shardana, the SAS, Marines, you name it. And then afterwards even have the balls, or whatever these she-males might have, to turn it around and proclaim that man and those bad males are all behind everything, while viciously using all the world's media to spread their lie strategy in this war against humanity, by the book according to Adam and Steve and the snake of Pharaoh. And don't you think FuckTube and Pharaoh's authorities will ever do something against this hate speech, huh? How would it look like if men would start wearing pink t-shirts saying kill all them women, huh? What a sick world. Look carefully at the logo. I'll show you more about it later in this film and how it relates to Pharaoh's aristocracy. Take a mental screenshot of it. Or here, another goddess and pulling away example for the daughters of man, with squares and circles for the square and compass concept of 4 and 3. Here you can see the circle for the compass and a lot of squares in it. It says square and compass, just like here, it's a big circle here, a lot of squares in it, eh? And little red and white Swiss Templar choir boys. Here, look at them. Red and white Swiss choir boys. You know, it's a reference to the Knights Templars. As the song is Swiss made, entitled Look to Your Path. Oh, what's the Templar dude doing there? For Hell-I Woods, Oscars 2013. And only a few weeks after the Swiss song Oscars in Swissy's Rudolf Steiner School of the Swiss capital, Bern, where my children were in, Swissy forced the children to swear the Freemason oath. With the Freemason skull of death, as in Skull and Bones, on the table of the Swiss SS Nazi Templars, as you can see in my older video here, after which I was forbidden to enter the school anymore. Well, she is a fantastic singer, it's incredible. Well, you know, it needs a good product to seduce us, well, into this here. The goddess singing, if I were a boy, creating she-males for the androgynous agenda, an unmistakably Templar's V on her black alien tunic, holding it all together, full of inverse triangles of death, as it is in Auschwitz. Look, it's all about killing Adam and the males for Pharaoh, with militarized little obedient Templar dudes this time, and this time to go and kill the Muslim patriarchy under complete domination of the goddess and her wannabe goddesses. You all remember this she-male logo, which I asked you to remember before. Well, here it is again. The logo of the goddess, her space force, as in the space suits in the Wish I Were a Boy song, and the pink t-shirt, for bringing the goddess back to her planet, where she and her pharaohs with their aristocracy probably came from in the first place. As you can see in the Prince's Masonic monument by the Satanic House of Orange, which I filmed a couple of years back here in this video here. And there it is, by the servants of the goddess and sisters of Isis with their hate speech, incitements for murder, death and massive wars, and no problem at all for FuckTube and the authorities, because it's just a woman doing it. Therefore, the she-male sisters of Isis have the same sexual orientation as the Knights Templars and their octagon Nazis. And how come all of this is possible in the middle of Arabia? Octagon Nazi Templars setting up an anti-Muslim force in the name of Islam, as in their name ISIS, the Islamic State? Well, because the Arabic nobility are in on it as well, like the Qatar banks of the Emirates from Emirats, an aristocratic title like a duke, the Swiss terror bank Al-Taqwa, many Sunni sheikhs and sultans, and most of all, even Saladin or Salahuddin in Arabic, already being a Knights Templar, which I explain in this video here. So it's already since at least 1291 and the end of the Crusades, with 2 months later the founding of that Nazi Templar paradise in the Alps. That this Nazi-Muslim connection of the Islamofascism exists through the linking forces of the Knights Templars. Therefore, the continuing story of the Swiss Nazis and Octagon's great eminences like François Genoux and Hans Huber. You can see that in my film, The Swiss Beast, Home of the Devil. Therefore, continuing with the elusive Swiss Abu Musab al-Swissri, being the head of the Amniyats, Katiba Furgan, being responsible for all the big ISIS terrorist attacks abroad. And this al-Swissri, whom I like to call al-Swissi, is not even a Muslim, but pure Octagon Nazi Templar, and just fading in, doing his job, and then disappear, just as the Swiss Nazi Templars did in Germany to unleash World War II upon us. Switzerland of the Octagon Nazi Templars is the true link of the Islamofascism, raping the true values of Islam into Swissies' advantage, getting extremely rich after each war they initiated, as in the Freemason slogan, Ordo ab chaos. Order in the Swiss banks after chaos and bloodshed in the world. And this here with the missile, it only happened last year in 2019. There's an incredible increase of Swiss crime and Swiss murder and weapons dealt and Islamic State at the moment. The increase is, it's gonna get nasty, people. And no president in the world will ever do something against it, because they're all in the club of Freemasons in this New World Order horizontal rule Templar system, being the very reason no state authority ever reacted as they're supposed to do when I dropped 3 complaints against Swaziland and their plans at Boulogne-sur-Mer, Mende and Saint-Étienne without even an answer of them. Neither any reaction on the tons of mails I sent to US authorities, who even had me arrested in Swaziland in 2009 for warning the American people. This is also why Freemason Trump terminated General Qasem Soleimani on the orders of the Octagon, because Soleimani knew about all this, I'm telling you, because I told him so, as I was in Iran and I used to give interviews in French on the Iranian IRIB radio, state radio. Now, why do you think Swissy took over diplomatic actions for the US to soften up Iran and certainly greasing the wheels, as we say so? Well, I tell you, a lot more about that soon. By the way, they give secret messages through the red and blue ties, as you see here. A blue tie, as in the blue war crown of Pharaoh, means the person or politician wearing it is in favor for war. So I contacted German, English, French, American authorities, well, you name it, all of them, to warn them against the coming terrorist attacks coming up, because I was there when Swiss industrials of Octagon planned the coming attacks. No one ever responded, except for the Swiss Nazi police arresting me with several anti-terrorist squads and locking me up for 5.5 years. So the elusive Swiss terrorist Abu Musab al-Swissi is walking freely amongst us today, just like Hitler, Mengele, Bormann and all the others after the war, and all in Swaziland. With al-Swissi, without any doubt, even visiting Paris today. The logo of the Swiss Crypto AG forms several vertical rules of the old world order being interrupted by one single horizontal rule of the new world order in the color red or orange on a white underground, as the cross of the Knights Templars is red on white, who made the new horizontal rule system and founded Swaziland in 1291, the oldest New World Order democracy in the world, democratically for Pharaoh's descendants of the worldwide aristocracy only. The PERA, or the big house, that is. Here you can see the big house. AG behind crypto means Aktiengesellschaft, which means a shareholders company, INC, Inc. in America for incorporated, or limited in England from public limited company or PLC. Well, who are the shareholders then? It's a letterbox company seated in Liechtenstein, a principality of Pharaoh's aristocracy, which means the stone of light. Again, the Stonesies like Larry Silverstein, Harvey Weinstein, Jeffrey Epstein, Brian Epstein, Bernard Weinstein, a reference to Pharaoh's aristocracy, the stone builders. As the German word Stein, as in Liechtenstein, it means stone. The offices and factory of Crypto AG are in Zug. Here you can read it, Zug, Z-U-G, where just after 9/11, a Swiss victim of massive Swiss state authority terror looked up his tormentors and diminished them by 14. And his supporters, who thanked Friedrich Leibacher during a hockey match, got all rounded up and put in the slammer, and where organized crime gets full protection in the canton of Zug. Organized authority crime as by Crypto AG and its satellite perpetrators all around. This is the black heart controlling Europe and the United States, because the CIA, the main shareholder, belongs to the Swiss Nazi Templars, where Liechtenstein is one of the centers of the notorious octagon of the Knights Templars. Here you can see their flag with a crown in it. It's all aristocracy with an octagon here. Money, and it is about money here. The C is for crypto. The word crypto, as in the company's name Crypto AG, it means concealed or secret in Greek. Just as the artwork statue in Langley at the CIA's building is called Kryptos, as you can see here with a K. And here it says the sculpture has 4 encrypted messages, but only 3 of them have been decoded since its creation 30 years ago. Well, I know what the message is, and it's very easy. The message says that the CIA is a Freemason organization in the hands of the Nazi Templars from Switzerland, Le Refuge, or the hideout. Because it's a double encrypted message saying square and compass, the concept of 4 and the concept of 3. Of the 4 messages, only 3 were revealed. Of 3 for the side of the pyramid, which is visible to the eye, but 4 is invisible to the eye as being the base of a pyramid, and we don't know what's underneath, separated by the base, 4, separating the visible part of the pyramid above the sand from the inversed pyramid under the sand, therefore the pyramid of death. As in Auschwitz, because Freemasonry is a death cult, like the SS Totenkopfverbände, Skull and Bones. But you need to watch the Swiss Beast film to be initiated into the concepts of 3 and 4. It's all about numbers and secret words anyway. As you can see here back in Langley again, the Kryptos monument in front of the CIA building. And there are equally 4 parts to a Templar's cross that have each 3 corners, also referring to the pyramid, where the whole tricky bunch has crawled from underneath in the first place. So here you can see in all the video of mine, you just punch in the title here. You see there are 4 parts, And every part has three sides or three corners. The concept of four and the concept of three. That's why that's where the Kryptos monument, where it's all about. There were four riddles and they only found three. There you go. They never find the other one, the fourth one. And when I was still in the army, I heard them call each other Cistercians in action, a reference to the Nazi Templars of Octagon, who came out of the monastic Cistercian orders of Bernard de Clairvaux in Troyes, in France. You all see the Templars cross here. And remember this here, Soc Ist. It means Sacer Ordo Cisterciensis. It means the sacred order of the Cistercians. And you'll see it back in a moment. All the fleur-de-lis all over. This is where the Knights Templars come from. So remember this, S-O-C, Socist. It'll come back in a moment. Oh, look, there it is again, S-O-C. They say it means Special Operations Command, but it isn't. It means Sacer Ordo Cisterciensas Ordo Masonica, the Masons, and they come out of out of the Templars, and the Templars come out of the Cistercians. It's all there. And this is why you risk your neck for, for them, for some geostrategical war. Don't wage their wars for them. It's all about numbers and secrets. This is Sacer Ordo Cisterciensa Ordo Masonica, the sacred order of the Cistercians and the order of the Masons. And here's the top part of their crest. I couldn't get it all in one pic. You see the Templars cross. It says the order of Cistercians, Sacer Ordo Cisterciensis. The CIA was founded in 1946 by the ethnic Swiss General Eisenhower, the ethnic Swiss OSS Allen Dulles, and the ethnic Swiss J. Edgar Hoover of the FBI, which I all explain in my film The Swiss Beast, Home of the Devil. And the main objective of the CIA is to protect the Swiss Nazi Templar banks and all their accumulated wealth in the Alpine caves. So right in 1945 it needed Operation Paperclip to legalize the Nazi scientists like the war criminal Werner von Braun, who used Auschwitz laborers for his Templar V rockets, and also real Octagon members as General Reinhard Gehlen, whom you can see here in his Maltese order outfit, who was urged to found the German BND Secret Service, Bundesnachrichtendienst, and a CIA daughter on April the 1st, 1956. Now that's not a joke, I wish it was. April 1st. These two were the main shareholders, not very limited, of Crypto AG, which they bought in 1970 after they accidented Bo Hegelin, the owner's son, in the same year, who was against getting the company into the hands of the CIA, Cistercian Nazis. And with a broken father, the inventor of the cryptic machines, Boris Hegelin, an easy business was made buying the company of a disillusioned father. Swiss General Eisenhower became US President in the very same year. The Crypto AG was founded in 1952, which is not a coincidence at all. The CIA and all the other secret services were never meant to protect the citizens of their respective countries and persecute criminals, spies and drug dealers. They're just there to eliminate the competition. As I call them, the Cocaine Import Agency in the icon of my other channel. The CIA is nothing else than Swissy's long arm of the Nazi Templars, who invented the banks, invented the check, were the first multinationals in history, and are just a bunch of robber barons with their Alibaba caves in the Alps. By the way, the notorious Templars treasure never went to Scotland and Roslin Chapel, but after it left the French port of La Rochelle with 18 ships, they sailed through the Strait of Gibraltar straight to their treasure island of Gallinara, which you can see here, in Liguria, Albenga, etymologically from the Latin word alba, for white, as in Albenga, which refers to the Perhead or White House of the Templars' horizontal New World Order. So this is from one of my older videos from 2014 on my channel G.I.U.R.E.H. Here you can see the title. I had a lot more, but even Templar flags, which I filmed recently on one of my other channels, I just can't find them anymore. And of course, there's a lot of it is lost because of deleted channel Giureh. But this is the Templars' treasure island. This is where they went to. And from there on, from that island Gallinara, they traveled the Via Templare, still called the Templars Road today, to bring the treasure into Octagon of the Alps, because the road through France to the east was controlled by the French king and therefore unsafe, whereas the seaways pretty safe. And from Albenga on through the mountains into Swaziland, all through Templar controlled territories, no problem. Eh, Swiss, So here you can see an ancient Templars commandery, very old, which is situated on the Via Templare, next to Albenga. It's also an older video. Here is here's the title. You can punch it in so you can see it. So here we can see a Templars map. Here is La Rochelle. I mean, why go here to England and to Scotland? I mean, this is dangerous because of the British fleet. And you would never do that, eh? Because the Knights Templars, they were still fighting all the kings with whom they finally made a deal. That's why England is a constitutional monarchy. It's not a real monarchy. It's nothing to do, you know. The only real king was the King of France. So why take this dangerous road, you know, very risky, you know, very, it's a lot of wind and a lot of streams and you know, you don't do that, eh? Much easier, take the sunny way here, straight from here, tuck, yeah? It gets real nice weather, you just go around Gibraltar, take the coastal line, or maybe not, and go here. Here you're quite near to Swaziland. It's about here. Here's Genoa, and here is Albenga with the Treasury Island. And you just do this little bit here, and you're in Swaziland, right here. Instead of going from here, it's all French king controlled territory. You never make it, especially with a heavy treasure, you know. You're not like a lightweight battalion. So you go around, because this is all safe. The waterways were all safe. The British king was here with his fleet. You don't want to go there. So you go here. Nobody here. Follow the coastal line. Pick a few fruits on the way. Again, scoreboot. And there you go. This is the way they took. All the rest is lies, you know, media lies, Hollywood lies, from books, you know. They want us to lure into the false stories as usual. And let me tell you, I know it's not a theory. I know that they went here. I'll tell you one day. So here it says La Rochelle. They didn't go up here, you know, a lot of storms, a lot of, you know. And the king, they went south into the sun. They went all around Spain and all that. Instead of, they could never go here to Switzerland through here. It's all, you know, territory by the king. And they made it next to Genoa, about here. It's called Albenga. The island is like here. And it was all Templars controlled territory. They went, all right, duck into Switzerland, especially here, Wallis, where most of the Pope's Guard, they're from this area here. It's called Wallis, yeah. And they controlled it all. It's really too bad I can't find it. It's one of my latest uploads on Central Intelligence Agency or on Homeland Security. I have the Templars flag in it of this town here. I just can't find it. And there's a lot of things that's gone missing on my channel Giureh. NSA agent Edward Snowden was stationed in Geneva, Switzerland, and he leaked in 2013 that the NSA and CIA were allowed to use Swissy's Onyx spy satellite system by the Swiss NDB intelligence service from Bern, which I once filmed, but I can't show it to you anymore because it was on my channel Giureh and it has been deleted. Snowden said that he had never seen a people more racist than the Swiss, who look down on everyone. They're rich, arrogant, and class conscious, he said. Why the name Onyx? Well, Onyx is black, and all these names are Pharaoh, Freemason, Rome related. And the demotic pharaonic name for black is Chem, from Kemet, the pharaonic word for Egypt. And onyx is a black stone referring to the underworld. Therefore, most statues of Anubis are in black onyx. So Kemet for ancient Egypt means the black lands, referring to the lands around River Nile, as the black water in Switzerland called Schwarzwasser, or the contractor killer company for Templar geostrategical wars for the Nazi Templar multinationals called Blackwater, founded by a guy called a prince, another prince of darkness. Now, Blackwater is just another name for Egypt. I filmed Blackwater, Switzerland once in one of my older films, but I think it's gone with the rest. It's the conglomerate of the Per-A, or Big House of Pharaoh, and a better name would be Assassin's Creed. Although Creed, their belief system, believing in money and power, absolutely fits in. And they know who they are. Therefore this film here, with the Templars V here in it, are masters. One cannot see the crypto case either without referring to Onyx, Edward Snowden, the Templars, Rome, the Black Lands, and so forth. So when the CIA, NSA, BND, Crypto AG, and the Swiss steal information everywhere from everyone on the globe for 50 years, nothing happens. But when someone like Assange only publishes some intel that he didn't steal, but was given to him for free, he gets destroyed, tortured, dragged in the mud, discredited, criminalized, and sentenced to 175 years in prison, wishing it were only 20 years. This is the difference between master and slaves, Pharaoh and Germanic tribes, Swiss and Europeans. We're fucked, folks, and the 10 commandments of Pharaoh are not gonna help you or your children. You see the Oscars here and all the downward and the inverse and pyramids just on the Louvre or on the wall here are masters. Or here, you see all the Templars V's here? This is not the pyramid, because the angle is more like the V. The pyramid would be like this. It's a Templars V of our masters, or like this is of course the Oscars, you know, like the other pic like before as well. Conditioning the slaves, eh? Most so-called Christians love playing the Pope's Inquisition with me by sending me threats, because I blasphemed by saying that Christianity didn't work out, criticizing the results only. but not the religion itself, you dumb slaves. You religious freaks and your threats only make me more angry than I already was. So, I say it once again for all you Bible bangers who send me threat mails. Christianity is a good idea and a fine religion. Unfortunately, it never had any true followers over the last 2000 years. It's a historical fact that Christians are the biggest killers throughout history. 2 world wars, numerous religious wars like the 30-Year War, the Inquisition, numerous Christian genocides on Indians, Jews, Bushmen, Aborigines, etc. Christianity was raped by the Christians themselves over and over again. And the more threats you send me, the more I will repeat this. Christianity was raped by the Christians. I love the Bible, which is a fantastic book, especially the book of Revelations. But I'm done with you Christians. Go on, send me more threats. After all I've revealed to you about the 666, the beast with 7 heads of the Alps, the Sea of Peoples, into which Pharaoh disappeared, the Templar banks of Switzerland and Whore of Babylon, with which all nations traded. You just stab me in the back, you traitors. I'll reveal one more thing, and then I will stop. Go to hell, all of you. In Daniel and the book of Revelation it says that the beast has the skin of a leopard, with dots on it, as leopards are marked, the feet of a bear, the mouth of a lion, and the power by the dragon. All this fits on the hyena, and symbol of Rome with Remus and Romulus, which I explain in this video here, so I'm not going to repeat it all, because I don't feel like telling you traitors and backstabbers much more really, but I have to. A hyena is skin marked, as a leopard is, called the spotted hyena. And because of its unique matriarchal rulership empowered by the dragon, because God is a man and not some dragon goddess like Hell, Vatican or Isis, through which we had 2 world wars of the Horus Matrix. All God's creation should be male-led and not by some hyena-adoring pink list killers. And to make things worse, hyena females have a dick, have more testosterone, and are larger than the males. This is not a joke, really. Does that sound familiar to you? Like today's tendency of gender benders walking around in pink t-shirts saying, "Kill the patriarchy." Therefore, the equally perverted Etruscans of pharaonic descent made children in orgies, like snakes do, with sons not knowing who their fathers were, like today's fathers having their sons kidnapped forever when divorced. Therefore, Rome took the hyena for symbol, with boys milked by the goddess, who probably created the hyena as well, of which all Africans believe that hyenas have demons. Here, the spotted hyena and the symbol of Rome has the skin of a leopard, the mouth of a lion, and the feet of a bear. Here, look, it's a completely different color. It's brown, like a bear. You know, it's like socks. It's all mixed together like. And here's the leopard, and this is a very big mouth. It has the biggest crunching power in the world of all these animals. Then today's Rome is Swaziland, the whore of Babylon and her banks, her CIA, her crypto leaks, her persecution of saints like Assange and others, the BIS, the Bank of International Settlements, Promindex Papers, Rubicon, Minerva, you name it. And you better not be a man in Swaziland, I tell you, it sucks. Oh, here it is, yeah, with the skin of a leopard, the mouth of a lion, the feet of a bear and the dick of a, or whatever. And in Daniel 7:6 it says about that same end times beast that it has 4 wings of a fowl. Swaziland has 4 languages with which the Swiss beast can fly in 4 wind directions and do harm to the Germans to the north through 30-year war and 2 world wars. French to harm the French to the west, 2 world wars. French Revolution, Paris terrorist attacks by Abu Musab al-Swisri. Italian to harm the Italians by teaching Mussolini and bring havoc over Italy by the Svizzera Fascisti. And Romanche to the east. And the fowl, as in concerning the 4 wings of a fowl on the beach, is a domesticated, harmless-looking bird, like the harmless-looking Swiss, of which the Freemasons say a chicken is not a bird and a woman is not a human, because it's a Mason fraternity out of the Templars Brotherhood. So you women, why do you collaborate with them against your man, your fathers, your brothers, and against your own sons through the Horus Matrix? Kill the patriarchy, huh? You want to be strong as a hyena, hey? But you cannot. You're just birdie needs a nest. So this thing here is called the Distinguished Intelligence Cross of the CIA. You get it after a couple of years in the CIA and when you got a lot of money in and killed a lot of people. You all see the Swiss cross here behind it, eh? It's not a joke, people. And the circle is the concept of 3, and here are 4 things. Here's the concept of 4. It says square and compass. So the hyena represents Rome, and today's Rome is Swaziland and their Templars Swiss Guard owning the Vatican, just as Swissy owns the CIA and NSA, thus coming back to Crypto AG and Operation Rubicon. Operation Rubicon was the CIA's plan to buy Crypto AG and to put a secret backdoor beforehand in the encrypting machines, so Swissy Nazi Templar and their CIA could read all the mail, not to target any other governments, because all governments in the world is them, New World Order Pharaoh aristocracy, but to spy on companies and on the slaves, of course. And this is why in the logo here on the floor, you've got the 4 wings of the beast. This is going to Germany, the languages of Swaziland. This is going to Germany, the 30-year war, 2 world wars. This is going to France here to the west. This is going to Italy, and this is Romanche to the east. And this is all out of the time of the Knights Templars, because the CIA is Octagon. I made a video once about it, which was called Octagon Rules over Pentagon. It's gone. It was on Giureh, and they took it off. It's gone. We had 2 house searches. They stole everything. The Swiss Gestapo. These videos are gone forever. Yeah. So this is what it means, eh? This is Swaziland, the 4 languages. I mean, it's not natural. In one country, they speak 4 languages. It's not natural. And there's one in the north here, German, in the west, France, and in the south, it's Italian, and to the east is here. It's not natural. These things don't come natural. And it's all Swiss, folks. It belongs to the Swiss. The CIA is only there to defend the financial interests of the elite and to eliminate any potential competition by the slaves, because the Knights Templars were just a multinational Swiss robber organization, and there's no secret intelligence agency in the world that has another secret intelligence agency from another part of the world as their enemy. That was all made up by Hollywood and their 007 fairy tales to entertain the slave race and their days off working for the masters. And here you can see it again, the four. This is the Distinguished Career Intelligence Medal. And you get it after a couple of years working for them, right? So the circle is the compass, and here are the four wind direction, the concept of four. So it says square and compass, of course. And the wings, like they're going like this and then like this. These are the Isis horns here in the middle. And the wings are always the wings of Ma'at, of course. The goddess. All goddesses in Egypt and Helvetican and Freemasonry. The CIA is Octagon. I also made another film about this. It's also gone. So do copy my videos. It's free anyway. It's my present to you. Okay. The name Rubicon